Hey guys, it's me Kathleen and I'm coming to you guys with another video. This video is gonna be pretty much about my pregnancy. Yeah. So right now I'm about 6 months postpartum. I do apologize if it's been so long that I've haven't been able to update you as far as when it comes to postpartum. But yeah, let me just start off. Well, I had my daughter December 17. It was an emergency C-section, so I'll explain how that whole ordeal happened. Pretty much I went in for, my whole pregnancy was normal. I was not high risk or anything like that. For some reason around the ending of my pregnancy, I was 38 weeks, and I went in for my normal checkup just to see if I've dilated or anything like that. So while I'm at the doctor's office, the midwife mentioned, have the baby been moving? Did you, that kind of thing. And I kind of noticed, like, a couple of days or weeks before, I noticed that her movements weren't as strong, or as, that it wasn't that many kicks or anything that I was feeling. And so when she asked me, I was like, you know what, it kind of decreased a little bit. Her movements have decreased from, I don't even know for how long since I've noticed. So the nurse was like, okay, well, let's take you to observation, which is they just put you, they put the little monitoring tube, not monitoring tube, but they put the wrap thing, which is monitoring the baby's heartbeat. So they did that, and then they attach you to the machine that's like, monitoring the heart. And then all of a sudden we're just sitting there and we're hearing her heartbeat, and then literally all of a sudden the heartbeat just stopped. Like, we didn't hear anything at all. And I was laying there freaking out, like, oh my god, babe. Like, I was talking to my husband because he was with me, and I was like, honey, I don't hear anything. He was like, I don't hear anything too. So then all of a sudden nurses came rushing into the room, and they were like, is that you on the monitor? And I'm like, well, I guess so. And literally she's like, oh, why do you still have your clothes on? And then she starts literally ripping my skirt off, and then she, I don't mean to be so graphic, but she literally shoves her hands inside of me, in my cervix, to check if I've dilated, to see if, if the baby's coming. And literally nothing. I was not dilated, nothing. The baby's heart rate dropped. So they were like, okay, we have to get your doctor. So my doctor came in, and then of course the one thing that I didn't want to hear is that she's saying that, okay, well, we don't know why her heart rate dropped. And it dropped for, like, I would say 3 minutes to 5 minutes. Her heart rate dropped, and it was really, really low. And she said, okay, we don't know why her heart rate dropped, so we're gonna have to do an emergency C-section. And literally I instantly started freaking out. I started shaking. Like, I couldn't even tell you all the emotions I was feeling at that moment. Like, when I was so scared. I've never had surgery before, and I was scared, I was disappointed, I was just all these emotions at one time. And yeah, so I was super scared. As soon as they said that, I was literally shaking like this, and my husband was like, oh baby, it's gonna be okay, he's trying to calm me down. And I instantly was bawling in tears, like I was crying the whole time. And since we didn't know this was gonna happen, it was just a normal doctor's appointment. We didn't have my my hospital bag that was already prepped and just sitting at home. So we didn't really have anything. So my husband had to, my husband had to go and get prepped for surgery. Then they took me, and then they, started doing things to me. Of course, putting I think it's called urethra or something, with a little tube that if you have to pee, you can't go to the bathroom, it just drains out the pee or something like that. They did that. Of course, they got me undressed and put me in the robe and all those things, and they rolled me to surgery. And the whole time I was just like, everything that was going through my mind is that this is not how I wanted it to end. This is not how I had thoughts of bringing my daughter into the world. So yeah, I was really down, devastated. I was like in total shock. And I remember them setting me up on this surgery thingy, and they had me like this, kind of like a shape of a cross. You're literally on there like that, and then after they gave me the epidural and everything, yeah, and I was still shaking. Even on the thing, I was still shaking, and I was still crying. And I remember you know, them telling me, okay, we're gonna get started. And I was like, wait, where's my husband? Like, because I didn't have him next to me. So, of course, I was just like, no, I need my husband to be here. And, yeah, so then he came in, and then literally 5 minutes later, my daughter was out. And I was just like, I was just like, oh, wait, when she came out, they said she's out, but I didn't hear her crying. So then I was just like, I don't hear her. And then eventually she started crying. And I remember, honestly, that feeling of just joy, I wouldn't say it was there. I wouldn't say it was there after everything happened, because everything happened so fast that I was still in shock. And I was just like laying there, like just laying there. And then by the time I woke up, I was in some room, whatever, and then I didn't even remember how I even got to my unit, like the room that I stayed in with the baby. I don't even remember how I got there. So then when I woke up, of course, I saw her, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like this little person, you know, was inside of me. And I was just like, it took a while to kind of kick in, but then at the same time, I did feel like I still had that feeling of disappointment, because I'm such a control freak that because it didn't happen the way I thought it would, it was really devastating. And you know, if I had to do it again, honestly, I wouldn't have planned so much, because I think when you plan so much, it's like when it doesn't go your way, you're more disappointed than if you didn't plan, because then you have no expectations. So yeah, that was my, you know, that's how that happened for me. But yeah, the one tip I will say to all the new moms or whoever's about to have a baby is, I think when you're prepping your hospital bag, you should prep for both. Because the mistake I made, I prepped my hospital bag with me intentionally knowing that I was going to push out my baby. And I had everything from witch hazel pads in case I had hemorrhoids. I had, you know, disinfectant spray for, you know, the private area. I had, you know, all those little things that I thought I would be able to wear and be able to have. I had, you know, new pajamas, new this, new that, slippers, this and that. And after having her, you know, there was really nothing in that bag that I could use. The only thing I could really use was the robe, because when you have a C-section, you don't want to put pants, because where your incision is, it's literally where the pants has to be. So you won't really be able to wear pants. You're gonna want to stick in a dress. The underwear that I purchased, you're not gonna want to wear that. You're gonna want to wear the hospital's underwear, because they're much bigger, they're more comfortable. Yeah, so I would definitely say plan for both, you know, and put a little bit of both things just in case something you didn't expect happen. That would be the number one tip that I would give all you new moms out there. But so far, as far as my 6 months postpartum, so far I'm doing really good. Well, actually, let me backtrack, because after having my daughter, after having the C-section, 3 weeks after that, I was hospitalized. One night I was breastfeeding her, and then I just had this feeling in my chest like I couldn't breathe, and I thought it felt like I almost thought I had pneumonia, because the way it felt, like every time I tried to take a deep breath, I couldn't. And then I was hospitalized for 4 days and 3 nights. I was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy, which is weakening of the heart during pregnancy. So my heart, instead of it beating like boom, 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 like normal people, it was beating boom, boom, boom. Like it was very off. It was not beating regularly. It was very, very weak. My heart was beating at, like, when I'm just at rest and laying down, it was at 30 beats per minute. you know, or 38. Like, it would be like that. Like, literally in the hospital, nurses would come and wake me up to make sure I'm alive, because that's how low my heart rate would go down to. So after that, of course, I had to see a specialist. I had to start seeing cardiologists. After that, I had to stop breastfeeding because the medication that they put me on didn't allow me to be able to breastfeed my daughter, which, of course, another disappointment that I was sad about. I, spent $200 something on a breast pump, and then this happened. So I was only able to breastfeed her for about a month, which is better than nothing at all, of course. Then, yeah, so then now, right now I'm 6 months postpartum, when I was around my 5-month postpartum, I was hospitalized again because I had that tightening and feeling again in my chest. And when I went to the hospital this time, which was 3 days, 2 nights, they told me that it was actually my thyroids. So my thyroids actually went out. So, of course, now I screw going to a specialist. I've been going to a holistic health center instead, because normally for people with thyroid issues, they tell you that, your thyroid's never going to come back. So you just really get stuck with drinking pills all the time. So I started going to a holistic health center for that. So far I'm doing pretty good. So far so good with everything. But yeah, as far as this whole postpartum thing, I'm enjoying my daughter. She's a beautiful little girl. And right now, I don't see when I would have another child, because I'm kind of scared of what would happen since I went through all of this with her. And especially when I had like a normal pregnancy and nothing was wrong. So I'm kind of nervous to, have another baby anytime soon, of course. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about the postpartum cardiomyopathy or the whole thyroid issue, or any questions dealing with pregnancy, let me know. Oh, another tip is always go with your gut. Always go with your gut, because to be honest with you, that day when we were in observation, my husband, he actually had plans to do something, and because we had to wait and stay in observation, he was kind of like, oh man, I have stuff to do, blah blah blah. But always go with your gut instinct, because if I would have went on him and knowing that he had something to do and not go there, God knows what would have happened. I could have lost my baby. So always go with your first instinct. If you're not sure, just do it anyways, just to double check, because it's not fun. It's not fun to be pregnant and to lose, that baby, because you're attached to them already, because they're inside of you and you feel them every day. And guys, they don't have that same connection that women do. So always go with your gut instinct. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you do have any questions, just leave them down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.